Life doesn't always go the way we want it to. It's a mess. Everything is going down the drain at the speed of light. And she just wanted a quiet and long life. Was it greed to want to be an ordinary statistician? There's a guy lying on the ground. A girl sees him and asks, "Hey, excuse me, are you okay?" Of course, it's just a disaster. She knocked out Duke Rock Aintia. "It's the Grey Cardinal himself, the true villain," she said as she saw the guy closer, leaning over to him. Duke Raka Aintia locked up the protagonist, and as a villain, he attacked the imperial family, becoming the head of the monsters. Can she say she just raised the black flag? Right. We should just get out of here before anyone catches on. Just then, a shout came from behind the bushes. "Brother!" A girl with black hair ran up to the guy. She was frightened. "Who's with him? Open your eyes. My God, he's dead," she said. Aisha Aintia, Grey Cardinal's younger sister. Another boy came up behind her and put his hand on her shoulder. He said, "Aisha, he won't open his eyes. He's dead." Delcane Aintia, Grey Cardinal's younger brother. "He doesn't open his eyes. He's dead." Delcane Aintia is the younger brother of the Grey Cardinal. The children approached the girl, leaned over to her and asked, "Did you kill our brother?" "I'm sorry, kids, but I think there's been a misunderstanding," the girl said. The children asked, "What kind of misunderstanding?" "That doesn't change the fact that their brother died because of her," Aisha shouted. "Her brother. The girl is an evil saint. I for one think she can see them off." "No, it's true," said the girl. "Your brother is still alive, isn't he? You're not giving him a chance to talk." The children screamed that it was all because of her, and she must save their brother. That's right. It all started the moment her life went downhill, straight down the cliff. About an hour and a half ago, a voice sounded from the royal castle. "Mistress Maya, are you ready?" The girl who called out Maya's name once more interjected, "Mistress Maya?" The heroine woke up standing in the middle of the hall. What? Where is she? She remembers falling down the stairs. So she's dead, Maya thought. Why are all these people looking at her? Questions. You have a kind of pale complexion, you ask. Talking to me? Yes, my lady, we are speaking to you, replied the man standing beside her. Excuse me, so her name is Maya. Something familiar crossed her mind. She'd heard that name somewhere before. Oh, right, I remembered. Shakira's Flower. Shakira's Flower is a novel she read before she died. It can't be, she thought. Has she really become a minor character in a novel? Maybe that's how she needs to get into character, Maya said now. And what is there to do? Wasn't she going to go to the prayer hall? Why give her blessing? Blessing? Maya interjected. Yes, don't you remember? Today is the day that Maya-sama awakened her abilities. Is she really the same Maya? She wondered. Empire. Emperor Kynes received a blessing on the day Maya awakened her abilities. And about a year later, Maya sacrifices herself by transferring her abilities to Kynes to save him. While it wasn't clear what abilities she had awakened, it was certain that she would be vomiting blood in a year. She's really just a stepping stone for the main character, Emperor Kinessa. Plus, she's going to die again. Well, she actually owes you something to confess, Maya said. The girl leaned over to her and said, Mistress, I beg your pardon, but there is no time for that now. We'll die for nothing, she thought and said, that this is really important and everyone should listen to her. Honestly, she hasn't awakened her abilities, Maya said, but the girl who was standing with her said it couldn't be and it wasn't true. Maya thought, why did she deny it so stubbornly? Why was she so sure? Walking up to Maya, the girl took her hands and said, Just a second, let's check first. She stood up, all glowing like the sun, yellow in color. What is this? What is she doing? Maya thought. Putting her index finger up, the girl said, What, Maya, definitely awakened? But Maya couldn't understand how she knew everything so quickly. So she should walk down the aisle as soon as possible, the girl said. As a daughter of God, always remember elegance and nobility. Maya looked at the girl and thought, that's a problem. What to do? And anyway, do we have to bless this one to Finis? She'll get sick and die for it. A voice rang out in the great hall. Beginning all kneel. Mayday knelt down and said to everyone, Let us all pray together to our God, Teritos. It's not even funny. She's dead anyway. But this time she doesn't want to die. It's so unfair. It's to escape from the temple, she thought. Maya looked toward the end of the hall, saw an open door. Now everyone was praying with their eyes closed. Luckily, there was no one outside the door so she could slip out. Her chance. She got up and ran. The girl who was testing her abilities shouted, Where did you run to, Mrs. Maya? Running out of the auditorium, she told everyone. For now, she's not going to follow the original story to find her happiness. A voice rang out in the hall. Catch Mrs. Maya! And everyone rushed after her. But Maya is running as fast as she can. How can she slip away? A secondary character and scapegoat of the novel, Shakira Flower, decided her first escape to survive. The girl ran out of the hall and ran to the garden and there to the forest. As she ran, she heard someone's voice calling her. Maya, can you hear me? If she runs away immediately after awakening her powers, doesn't she embarrass the mistress of her body? Go back to the temple, a flying bird chirped at her. The bird hissed that Bacteridis be polite to him. Now that she had awakened her powers, she could hear the birds. Maya didn't stop and continued to run further. Asked the bird, What? The bird replied, It seems that Maya has hit puberty during her years of sleeping. You shouldn't have trusted on fortune. She's really running away or taking a walk. Yelled out, Just shut up and disappear, he's not helping, said Maya, liking walking around with someone chasing her. Ugh, the farther she runs, the harder it gets. How far does she still have to run? Maya thought, hearing, What's she doing out there? Catch her. The girl let herself further into the road to run. The voice came again. She's that way! Catch her! Maya said, No, you can't let them grab me. We have to hide somewhere. Running into the deep woods, she stopped for a break near a tree, leaning against it. She's really tired. What's about to die from running so much? The bird caught up with the girl and said what Maya was thinking. Will escaping the temple change anything? A bird perched on Maya's shoulder. Asked he didn't know what made her change her mind while he slept. Maya replied, Nothing, but it's better than dying a year later. The little bird asked, How do you know that? That's easy, Maya replied. Okay, stop. Don't tell her that even God doesn't know it's a novel, she thought. And also that she's not the real Maya. How does he not know that? It's not like she can't tell him the truth. And for now she needs to hide that she's not her. So she says she just knows what's gonna happen. She's good at seeing the future in her dreams. Bird hastened to reassure her about what must be some tricks of fortune. He would fix it all. She won't die, she'll just fall into an eternal sleep. Maya asked, So, what's the difference? Birdie said her body would go to sleep and her soul would go to him for eternity, forever. May answered him, So that's what it means to die. The bird took off and began to circle around Maya. If I could ever wake up, I'd go back to the temple, Maya asked. When will I wake up? The bird replied, Well, in about 100 years. Aren't you not sorry at all? Maya said. Said Pity, he loves all his children under the blessing. But the one you love most is the ruler of the Zerdia Empire. Mine is more interested in a child with some of his powers. He probably can't even sleep now, poor guy. And it's all because the human body has entered the kingdom of God. It's a self-actualizing process. He knows that the more he expends his energy, the more likely he is to be unable to sleep. Yeah, don't people have choices in life? Maya said. If you think about it, actually, she's running away because she has no way to escape this situation. And she's actually a daughter of God, too, Birdie wondered. Maya said, Really? Perhaps there is someone somewhere who can put the Emperor to sleep just by touching him. Like the main character in this novel, Reina Adrian. No, he definitely wants Maya. Only can solve the underlying problem, she said, not wanting to sacrifice herself for anyone. Then we should warn the Emperor not to use his powers if possible, the bird chirped. Maya starts running again. The bird flies after her and chirps. Maya replies, It doesn't want to. As long as the Grey Cardinal exists, the Emperor has no choice but to use his powers. Raka Aintia's Grey Cardinal. He even kidnaps the protagonist, locks her up and terrorizes her to get his hands on her. Therefore, Emperor Kinessa has no choice but to use his powers to protect her. Mine firmly decided that she would never sacrifice herself for anything. The little bird whispered, Why doesn't she think about it again? He can't just walk away like that. Well, in that case, say Maya. But the bird interrupted and said, Let's go back to the temple. If you feel your life threatened, leave, he said. Just like she did. The girl started to catch the bird, chirping back. Yeah, I'll calm down. She shouts to him, Sing, be still, let her catch it. And he teases her and says, Oh, how slow she is, very slow. If anyone sees that, they'll think she's a turtle. Maya's screaming that he's a cursed god. Someday she'll catch him. But the bird doesn't give up. He chirps, Come on, try and catch him. In an instant the bird disappeared. Maya spins and spins but can't find him, where he suddenly disappeared too. She thought he sat down on a bush. Strong it should have, she said, getting ready to catch him. Grabbing something, she shouted, "Found it!" But in reply, "We've got enough," uttered. "Oh my," she conceived, as if his voice had not been. Started to feel with my hands and realized some soft, silky hair. "What is it?" Just then our bird flew out of the other bushes and said, "It looks like she's caught something strange, but clearly not him." He said if anyone saw it, they'd think she was a pervert, obsessed with other people's hair. Maya wanted to hit the bird out of anger, but ended up hitting the man she found in the bushes. She said, "Oops, and that's a problem." "Look, how are you feeling in there?" asked Maya of the man. As she came closer, she saw that it was a young man. She asked, "He's not dead, is he?" "What is this?" She ran away from the temple and became at once a cold-blooded murderer. "Yes, Mr. Teritos," she addressed the bird. But he was already gone. He had flown away. Ran, she thought, and he's still with her. Call you God? An accomplice, but he ran away alone, dumping it all on her. Maya presented 2 fingers to his nose to see if he was breathing or not. Well, there seemed to be air coming out of his nose, so he must be alive. What if he has a concussion and loses the ability to do anything, she thought. A voice came from the bushes. 2 kids, a boy and a girl, came out of the bushes. The boy said, "Before the priests find, it's us first." And the girl said, "There are no flowers here." They were apparently discussing something, but suddenly they saw the boy lying on the ground. We're back. And the story that started from the beginning, the brother and sister, Aisha and Delcane, didn't see what happened to their brother, but blamed Maya for doing something to him. Maya saw them and listened to all their complaints and told them to listen to her. There seems to be a misunderstanding. The kids screamed, "What? What the hell kind of misunderstanding? They just thought they'd find Shakira's flowers and leave, but she got their brother killed, and they're really mad." "Since he's not dead yet," Maya said, "why don't you stop yelling so loudly?" Continuing to say he was dead, Maya got the impression that they really wanted him dead. "Aisha, kill her," her brother said to her. Aisha replied, "Okay," holding out her hands. Something black came out of her hands and headed toward Maya. "Wait a second, Aisha, should we use black magic?" thought Maya. "Don't," she told her, catching Aisha with the words that she can save her brother, she can do it. Then Brother Delcane went up to Aisha, beat his hand on her shoulder and said, "Z to her what she has said may now be true." Asked how she could anger save our brother. Maya was very happy that Delcane had succeeded in stopping the black magic. He said it's a priestess, a grown man, it'll work out. My brother said only once in his life as an adult could save someone from death. "Remember, brother, saving the Puri we raised?" said Delcane. "That's exactly what it was." "Well, also," remarked Puri, becoming quite strange after when he came back to life. "All because Grey Cardinal saved the pet with black magic," Maya said. Did she only have scenes of the main character being tortured in the novel? "And these children, they truly believe what Raka said, and I didn't know they were so innocent." Delcane shouted, "That's the way it is anyway. At least Big Brother will be alive," Mom said. "No, baby, your brother is not dead." Aisha said, "This way, evil priestess of their brother, right now. You said you could do it, right?" Maya replied, "Of course I can do it. But if you can't, you know you'll die instantly," and showed for her black magic. How cruel she is, Maya thought and replied, "Okay, let's get started, but first we need to move to another place." She thinks it will take some time for Cancer to wake up, but she was really worried about him being okay. There is a cabin in the forest that is hidden from everyone, only Maya knows. "He's so heavy," the children said. Maya said, "What are you doing? You're not going to throw him on the floor, are you?" "Why is he so tall then?" "Let's quickly put him on the bed," said the brother. "Why don't we take a little break?" said Maya. "Because we're all tired from dragging him here." Aisha said, "Maybe we really should take a break." But Delcane said, "Don't give in to the words of that evil priestess. After all, she doesn't want their brother lying on the floor." Maya thought, what a pity. If Delcane had kept quiet, she would have definitely been able to talk Aisha down. They managed to drag him to the bed and put him down at last. Maya looked him over and thought that, by the way, this body was stronger than she'd thought. And you couldn't tell. Aisha yanked Maya's hair and said, Hey priestess, save our brother, Maya replied, not at that rate. She's going to die soon enough herself. Delcane stopped Aisha and told her to take her time or she would die before she could save her brother. This is really hard. Maybe we should take a short break? Asked Maya. Which would be fine if we can get Delcane to talk, she thought. He's controlling Aisha, so we need to stay close to him, came Maya's idea. Aisha noticed that Maya was smiling and looked like a real villain. Delcane said that it seems he was wrong and there's nothing wrong with this villain. He thinks it's probably okay to rush her so she doesn't smile too much here. Maya walked over to Raka and said, "Well, I'll try to revive him, but she could use the help of the children." Delcane wagged his finger and said that my brother single-handedly saved Puri. Maya said it was because your brother was very capable. He was so good at it. The kids immediately perked up and started saying that yes, their non-brother is the best. Black magic is the same as the main character. The kids finally gave in and said, "Okay, we need to save their brother. They'll help in any way they can, after all." Maya said, "Okay, well then, let's figure out whose house this is first." The children asked why she was asking about such a thing. "Because, children, the Aintia families would never live in a hut like this one." Delcane said it's the house his brother uses while searching for Shakira's flowers. Shakira flower, named after the woman who discovered it, Shakira. Widely known for its excellent calming effect. It's mainly used by Emperor Kynes, whose condition is unstable due to divine power, Maya added. But why would the Duke want a flower, thought Maya. Okay, Delcane, pour some water in a basin and get a towel, Maya said. The boy replied that he understood and ran. The sister approached Maya and asked her why she wasn't giving her an errand. Maya has nothing to give her now, Maya thought. She didn't ask Aisha to help her because she was afraid she would send her away. She might think she was being coerced. Aisha asked Maya why she was showing zeal to save their brother. Maya replied that she had already done enough. Maya mentally picks up and immediately dismisses the ideas. Yeah, he might try to kill her when he wakes up. Weaponize her. Something for self-defense. Honestly, Maya wants to ask Aisha about something important. What is the girl asking about? You see, said Maya, and whispered something in Aisha's ear. Why do you need a frying pan? Resented Aisha. Well, it was you yourself who told me what happened when your brother saved your pet's life earlier. What was his name? Said Maya. The girl answered, Puri. All right, Puri, exclaimed Maya. In reality, adults need to perform a sacred ritual to save a life. Each person has different tools for the ritual. Aisha said she wanted to tell her that the frying pan was a tool of hers. Yeah, that's right. It's actually a secret to take with you to the grave. But she only told her, Aisha. Maya hopes that one is being saved up. Aisha didn't know that, so it means she can save her life when she grows up. Okay, I'll get it right away, Aisha said. Yeah, just bring it to me in secret from Delcane. Maya exhaled that Aisha was gone. Hadn't she been too nervous? Her body felt like it was stiffening. She wondered if she'd really have to use the skillet. But if Raka faints again after she hits him again, waking up, he can try to kill her again. It was late evening and the children were asleep. Raka was still awake. Maya took the frying pan in her hands for protection. Here she spotted a window. Walking over to it, she opened it so that in case of emergency she could escape through it. If Raka tries to kill her, she will hit him with a frying pan and run away through the window. Maya stood with a frying pan in her hands and practiced swinging it in case she needed to. A voice sounded, "Drop the weapon now! Come on!" Maya turned around and saw a bluebird. "God, Toritos," she said as he startled her. Toritos whispered that she was going to kill a living person. Maya told him she wasn't, and he should keep quiet. It was a good thing she'd put the twins to bed, in case anyone heard. Birdie told her not to worry, that only she could hear his voice, the others could hear the chirping. Maya asked if that was true. Toritos said of course, because who would dare to hear God's voice? Then she could safely ignore him. But the bird got nervous and said she couldn't ignore him. "You don't have to do that," the bird whispered. "What do you think she's going to do? She's going to kill him with a frying pan. Toritos feels that he is alive. Maya said she wasn't going to kill him. It's about surviving. Toritos said if she wants to use it to knock him down, he's really going to die. Maya marveled that the gray cardinal could die over a frying pan. It can't be so. Don't stop her. She wants to live. Toritos that he doesn't understand why she's so obsessed with life. But she needs to stop right now. Her destiny awaited. The more you listen, the more he says things she doesn't like. So he wants her to live her life. If it's fate, she'll change it, Maya said. My bad, he lost, he said. I got it. So put the skillet aside already. Maya said, what if she dies? He'll take responsibility, she won't die. Maya had that look. She didn't trust him at all. But Toritos swore on that body's name. Well, okay, if he says so, we can exhale, Maya thought. She sat back in her chair and put down the skillet. Why is Toritos discouraging her so much? His oath is enough, the girl wondered. She noticed that Toritos cared a lot for Raka, the young boy. Toritos replied, right, he's irreplaceable, this guy. But Maya decided that the man was a villain. She walked over to Raka and looked at him with a heavy gaze, wondering if Toritos really didn't know about the affair. Important because a villain. Perhaps only with a villain can Reina and Kinas have a deeper relationship. There might be something she doesn't know. We'll stop really serious, the girl thought. Okay, she said. It won't matter to her in a few days anyway. Maya leaned on the bed on which Raka was lying and fell asleep. While she slept, Toritos watched her. He hadn't expected Maya to be such a person. For as long as he could remember, she had been a very gentle and shy child. It bothered him that she was so innocent, but it was enough to make her physical abilities stronger than other people. And she was also the child who must return to his arms when she turned 25. It is thought to him that the foresight shown to her by Fortune was very shocking, and he told her, stay away from her. Well, now she's become very aggressive and has a clear purpose in life. Moreover, the thread of fate around Maya had become very tangled, much more tangled than that of ordinary people. Especially her thread of fate is intertwined with Rock's fate. He can say with certainty that he is a man who uses black magic. I wonder what will happen next, Toritos said, and flew off into the dawn. Morning came. Raka came to his senses. He sat up on the bed and rubbed his head because his head hurt so much. He did not understand what had happened. Looking around a bit, he saw some girl leaning on his bed. He began to remember her. She was the girl who had grabbed him by the hair and then thrown him to the ground. Looking at her, he thought, should I kill her? How dare she grab my hair, and as if that wasn't enough, she also pushed me to the ground. As he stretched his arms out to her, black smoke, black magic began to emanate from him. He wondered how he could kill her, maybe strangle her, but then he suddenly stopped. Wait, if I think hard, why didn't I react in any way? A frail neck, ready to break at his mere movement, and a pale complexion. She looked very vulnerable, Raka thought. That's right. The moment this girl grabbed his hair, he felt terribly drowsy. His body was on edge, and it felt familiar to him. After the black magic penetrated his body, every time he closes his eyes, he hears a loud cry. There was such silence in that moment, and he didn't even feel any pain. Definitely a Shakira flower. It was the same as from this flower. Strange why a person would have the same effect on him as Shakira's flower. Raka has come to his senses. The girl lay rolling on the bed, and in her sleep she was laughing, still laughing, scary. Well, have a good laugh. This may be your last time, thought the lad. Out of indignation he touched the girl, and touching her makes him feel weak. He had never heard of such an ability before, Raka thought. Probably because he's just a still sleepy guy. Got out of bed and went to check on his brother and sister while the girl was asleep. When he got down on the floor, his feet hit a frying pan. The first question he had was, what is she doing here? Was Aisha and Delcane playing around? As he opened the door to his brother and sister's room, a column of black-purple smoke thrust itself at him. He barely had time to dodge to the side with a shout of, Aisha! He almost fell over. He'd told her to attack only after he was sure it was the enemy. However, he swept up and praised her for her skills and quick response. Aisha saw her brother and shouted, Delcane, wake up, brother, alive! Aisha, what kind of evil priestess saved our brother after all? I told you she could, Delcane said. The brother and sister asked Raka how he was feeling, but Raka asked them what was going on here in general. The kids started shouting over each other. One shouts, You're going to eat with us, right? The other shouts, You have an appetite, don't you? You haven't changed like Puiri. Puiri is a devil in the shape of a squirrel, which he gave to Delcane on his birthday. Then the brother screamed, gasping, that the squirrel was dead. So you use black magic to kill it. Black magic that brings the dead back to life has many risk factors in every way. He tried his best to hide it from Delcane. Adults can only save a life once. Her life. I think that's what he'd said then. Of course I'm hungry, Raka replied. The children screamed they were so afraid he would end up like Puiri. The kid asked, but who saved who? The children began to answer that the evil priestess saved you, right? The angry priestess interjected, You mean that girl in his room? The children shouted, Yes, that's her. Then the boy added, So how did she save him? Delcane replied that she told him to pour water into a basin and bring towels, and Aisha stood silent. She wanted to say something, but she could not. But finally she had to answer that the priestess had said it was a secret she was to take with her to the grave. Their older brother picked up the skillet and showed them. She needed a frying pan, and she said she had to perform a sacred ritual to save her brother. Raka wondered, a frying pan? Did she want to cook something on it? Well, he thought to himself, maybe she wanted them all to die of food poisoning. Some kind of strange killer with strange tendencies. No, he thought, she's a little dumb for a killer. He has a lot of enemies. It's a personal dislike of him, though it's hardly the first time he's seen her. And somehow the guy's reasoning behind it all was strange. Okay, he decided to wait and watch her to see what would happen next. Maya's finally awake, everyone to the chair. She saw that Raka had come to her senses, but why was no one there? She decided to look at her hands because she thought she was dead. To look, she thought. Could it be that Maya is dead, reborn in another body? No, that's impossible, she thought. Walking over to the mirror, she saw her reflection, or rather, Maya's reflection, still in her body. Maya, she said. Not dead. She's really not dead, rejoiced the girl, after everything that had happened, feeling hungry now. Something to eat, she said. Hungry. After all the chaos, or perhaps because the tension had subsided, she felt hungry. As she opened the second room, her first thought was, to eat, and how in the world do you even cook in this world? Well, on entering the room, Raka stood in front of her with a frying pan in his hands, saw him and uttered the name, Raka! Out of the corner of her eye, down she saw that he had her skillet in his hands. Why wouldn't it be me? Mine, she smiled and said. I see you slept very well. And your frying pan, my dear, is clean. How did you clean it? Ha, there is such a thing. Good morning, as if nothing had happened. May, she replied. However, she still acknowledged grabbing his hair, apologizing for what had happened yesterday. Raka asked, What happened? Maya replied, Well, she about grabbed him by the hair and threw him into the ground. Raka rubbed his chin and said, Oh, right, I recall something like that. Maya continued to tell him that she was sorry and apologized. Taxa, he said, if she makes a mistake like that again, we'll go to the other world. Mai lowered her eyes to the floor. She had nothing to say to that. So that's the end of your apology? Cancer asked. She seemed to have to agree, or should I say she wanted to swat him over the head with a frying pan. Though looking at him, the kind she wanted to swat him. Or maybe it was better to go back to the room. Aisha walked over and asked, What is it again today? Soup too? My younger brother is sick of it and he can't wait until they get home to eat properly. Good morning, Aisha, Maya said hello. Maya didn't expect Aisha to be so happy to see her because Aisha replied, Who gives a shit about her? Good morning. Why is there still no way she's leaving here? Mine got very excited. Well, if not, she's going today. Oh yeah, can she go now? So she asked. Maya swung the door open. Have a nice day, and started to run away. On all fumes, she thought it was very natural. Almost leaving the house, Raka stopped her with a question. Priestess, if anyone else from the temple is here besides her? Maya read the back of her head and thought that, come to think of it, she wasn't a priestess after all. She answered that she was the only one here. Raka handed her the skillet and told her that wasn't she going to cook. He washed it because the pan was dirty. Villain, he actually cleaned that skillet himself. Maya couldn't even imagine it. Pulling away from Maya, Raka said he was sorry if she wanted the children to die of food poisoning. This time he'll pretend he doesn't know anything. But next time, she'd better be prepared for the consequences, he said. Maya didn't understand anything. Food poisoning? Kill who? What was he even talking about? Maya was about to leave when Raka said she could cook over there in the corner. She was surprised that he actually wanted her to cook a meal. Well, there were only 3 ingredients on the table: potatoes, carrots, and onions. Turning around, she looked at the children and realized that she needed to make something so delicious that they would like it. And then maybe they can forgive her for everything she's done to them. So she stood up and began to set herself up. Looking at the bow, thinking, come on. She should be able to come up with something. Her 6 years of experience working alone can't go to waste. I was twirling the bow in my hands and couldn't think of anything. But then suddenly an idea came to me. Then that's it. She'll stop there. Maya stood and cooked, and finally prepared a delicious dish. Putting it on their plates, she presented it to them. The children came up to the plates and asked what it was. Isn't it a vegetable? They don't like vegetables, Maya reassured them, telling them that they would taste different from regular vegetables. Aisha, try them first before you refuse. Maya has yet to see anyone in her life who might not like deep-fried potatoes. They should try it at least once. Manya said, Then maybe Delcane will start? The boy took the fork in his hands and said, Okay, I'll try it. His older brother walked over and snatched the plate from him with the words, I'll try it first. Corrected text with correct comma spacing. He thinks it's better this way, doesn't he, priestess? He asked. But she told him that he had seen her cooking. And dishes that aren't poisoned, he can eat safely, but the guy said, Who says it's poisoned? I just want to taste it first. Stood and nominated her potatoes without stopping. Brother, how's it going? The younger one asked. Fine, he replied. Quite well. Maya was glad. They were finally enjoying it. Delcane rushed to his plate and started eating, praising the dish very much, saying how delicious it was. Maya thought that, just as she had thought, fried potatoes were the most popular dish. Delcane, did you like it? Aisha asked. Yes, replied Delcane. Aisha, you try it too. It's really good, said Delcane. Maya was very happy that they had at least eaten. Aisha, after tasting the dish, jumped up from the table and shouted, I'm hiring you! Let's go to our house! Raka said, Come, let's go out. There is talk. What's wrong? She asked him. When they went outside, Raka asked, What have you done with this food? Maya thought that after the poison this time she had made medicine, but she could not say such a thing. So she replied that she had not done anything. It's just that Aisha never acknowledges people around her, said Raka. She replied, Maybe it's just that her potatoes are really good. But Raka was doubtful. He still said, You didn't slip anything in, surely? Because Aisha would never suggest such a thing. If he's so interested, let him ask Aisha why he's asking me, Maya thought. This all seems very suspicious to him. All right, he said. You will come with us to the castle. But mine got scared somehow, saying, Wait. Raka asked, Why? After all, she can't mess with the main characters in the novel, even if it is Raka himself. After all, she doesn't know when he will kill her, and she can't tell him about it. So she stands and mumbles something in response. She has to look after the younger ones. That's all she can think of. Rak replied that the younger ones could go to Aintia's home castle too. And she clapped her hands and rejoiced. Oh, right, she's so homesick, she said. The guy said he could drive her home every week. It was no problem for him. The mother said, You can't, and started talking nonsense. And she also has a husband. Her husband is very jealous. Raka said that he thought that saints, it was common knowledge, could not marry. And then she replied that, to be honest, she was not a saint. Raka asked, Are there any other people besides the saints strutting around here in white robes? Maya said she just really likes these clothes. Just look how comfortable they are. I didn't know what to think of anymore. She didn't start praising her clothes, spinning around, waving her arms and showing how comfortable she was in those clothes, but only she kept waving until she tore them. Raka said, Apparently you do feel comfortable. You must have unique taste. Raka began to say, So where is your husband and the younger ones? Maya said that her home was closer to the north. Raka asked again, How far from here? Well, about an hour's walk, Maya replied. Well, walking is too long now, so he's unlikely to check, she thought. Raka rubbed the back of his head and said, As far as he knows, it's an hour's walk from here. Just mountains. There's no habitation there. Maya immediately corrected herself. Oh, I meant west, she said. There's no housing in the west either, none. The only settlement from here, an hour's walk away, is in the east. Maya said, That's right, east. I was so confused I forgot. So Raka decided to make a joke and said, It's actually in the south. Maya stood there thinking, This is just a failure. Raka said that everything she was saying was a lie. I just thought of running away, but Raka came close enough to her that she can't dodge and told her, You won't run anywhere. Maya calmed herself down as best she could, answering him that she wouldn't run away, stepping back a little. Raka said, How can he believe her if she is lying all the time? He thinks she's lying even now. She replied, What should she do to make him believe her, though? Stop. What should he take her away from her if he doesn't even believe her? Maya told him, let's make a deal, if she gives him her name and she then uses the powers of Toritos. The name isn't as serious, but she has no other choice. Raka said, that's right. He doesn't even know her name, so what is her name? She can't say Maya because he would immediately realize that she is a saint. She began to think about how she should say her name. Instead of Maya, Mimir came out of her mouth. Raka repeated, Mimir, what's your last name? What's yours, Maya? She said, I don't have a last name, you can just call me by my first name. But in fact, she doesn't know her last name. Everyone calls her Maya. Raka interjected, really? No last name? Or do you just don't want to say? She said, no, she doesn't even know who her parents are. True, because Maya's personal life is never divulged in the novel. Of course she doesn't know, because Maya is just a minor character to the main character, Keenis. If she died one day, no one would care, just an extra. Perhaps she would have been happy to have been born with a different fate, at least not with a death like hers. Raka looked at her and said, it seems that you are telling the truth, that she doesn't know who her parents are. Maya noticed that his voice was a little softer than it had been. Or maybe magic has some sort of lie detector, she thought. Maybe she should learn black magic too. She could make a lot of money. Raka noticed that something in Maya's eyes had changed. The girl asked, what about the eyes? He's mulling over how to make money on that too, she thought. The guy said your eyes got weird for a while. He's seen it before, but he can't remember where. Where have I seen that vile look before? He said. Maya interjected, what vile look? The girl said, that's enough. Let's go back to where we started in the conversation. The guy asked, do you know my name? She replied, your name, Duke Raka Aintia, and also a wielder of terrifying black magic. But to say what she knows so far, it will be revealed when Duchess Reina is kidnapped, Maya thought. Raka said, the twins must have told you my name, and immediately she confirmed that yes, they had a very long talk and bonded yesterday. Raka said that he noticed how she managed to do it. Maya smiled and said that there is always a way. She just took advantage of the lies he told to the twins. She thought. Raka thought for a moment. She would be a good fit as a nanny for the twins, because the last nanny he could rely on had quit. Maya casually exclaimed, how nice. Raka interjected, what did you say? Maya replied that she had said nothing. Well, you said okay, the guy said. I think she was distracted by something she was saying. Her ears are already burning from lying. Guy said again, I repeat, wants her to be a nanny for Aisha and Delcane. That's right. He's never seen anyone handle the twins as well. At least she doesn't trust him too much. Besides, Aisha herself said she wanted to hire her. Raka will ask Sharam to keep an eye on Maya while she works. That's a good idea, he said. She'll be let down if he keeps suspecting her of something. And Maya decided to decline, saying, thank you for the offer. But she won't be able to go to the castle. She thinks she's here. If she goes there, she'll die there. Raka didn't know how else to attract her, so he said that I thought the salary of the nanny looking after the twins was 50 kirks. But Maya wouldn't be surprised by that. She wouldn't fall for a salary. All right, Raka said. 700 kirks. But Maya is adamant that she won't fall for it and be a nanny. Yes, Raka raised it to 800 kirks. Maya said to him, what does he think of her? At the end he added, 900 kirkas. When Maya heard 900 kirks, her eyes hesitated. She thought that with that money she could buy everything she needed and move to another country. But, while she was pondering, said 1,000 piks, and Maya immediately shouted that she agreed. She was the person who had fallen for the 1,000 kirks. She had mentioned once that 6,000 kirks would be enough to live on for a lifetime. She only got 6 months to work. Maybe this is her chance, Maya thought. She will be able to work as a nanny and not keep Raka and the protagonist from meeting. And then Highness won't have to use his powers and she'll survive. Raka smiled and said, look here, Holy One, do you fall for money? Maya replied that she didn't say she'd become a nanny because of money. She had her own goals. Raka and Maya went into the house and Raka was laughing till he fell down. Maya says to him, stop laughing. But he was laughing so hard that he almost fell off his chair. Thought he really should stop laughing. He asked, then for 1,000 kirks a month you'll do it? She said yes, but she also promised that you wouldn't kill me. The guy asked why he had to kill her. She replied that in fact, her life was now being threatened and she was in danger. Paka asked, "Who is threatening her?" If Maya could tell the truth, she would say, "So it's you and Emperor Kynes. But especially you, Raka. In the novel, you were the one who killed everyone who got in his way." He said Aisha whispered to him that she was going to die. No, he didn't understand. Aisha meant that she knew Maya was going to die. Maya looked at Raku and couldn't understand what was happening, and he realized she wanted to kill the twins, just because they started threatening her. Maya replied that he had misunderstood, and he was deluded. Sure, she realizes that survival is the essence of being human, but that's not the point of why she feels like the worst person in the world. Aisha ran into the room shouting, "What are you two talking about for so long? We're tired of waiting." As Aisha ran into the room, the door swung open hard, and with a rush of air, Maya was pushed towards Raka. She grabbed at his shirt across his chest. "Sorry." Abruptly, the door opened. Then inexplicably she somehow stumbled backwards that she and Raka fell to the floor. And again Raka felt that warmth coming from Maya. He tried to lean closer and closer to her, and Maya kept pushing him away. He asked her not to make it so good. She couldn't understand what was going on. Why can't one push away? Raka said he thought he liked her a lot. They almost kissed. But the kids were in the room and they got very angry. They started yelling, "What are you doing?" Delcane said, "Aisha, that's what adult relationships are." Aisha replied, "Yeah, I guess so. Adults are so fast." The kids asked, "Is she related to them now?" The children began to argue among themselves, Aisha shouting, "Being related is different. They won't get married." Adelakane replies, "Why not? You told me you liked her." Everyone in the room started yelling something amongst themselves, kids arguing. Aisha said, "Brother, don't you remember the book that Raka read to us? It said that saving a life is destiny." Maya stood up and thought about the word fate. Delcane said, "I guess it's fate." But Maya interrupted him with the words, "He said no one can save them." The kids continued to argue again. Delcane shouted, "Don't cover your ears, Aisha." Aisha yells, "A wants to listen and can't hear him." Maya says the kids are about to have a fight, and this is not the time to stand idly by. And the Duke is on Maya's shoulder, and he didn't care. Delcane shouts, "Don't you fool! Don't you know how a dog barks and how a man speaks?" Aisha yells, "Hey!" And Maya notices that Raka has fallen asleep, which is trouble. Delcane shouts, "Stop talking! Hey, aren't I older than you?" Maya retorts to him, "And since when do you care? You're only a minute older." Yells, "A minute is a big difference, you fool." Aisha retorts, "Oh no, take it back." Maya couldn't take it anymore and yelled, "Guys, stop swearing!" But the children started fighting. Delcane grabbed Aisha by the hair. "Let go! You're hurting me." He retorted, "You started it first." Maya tries before the kids, but she is having no luck. It became interesting what she should do, how to break them up, if also Duke is sleeping on her. Maya twitched her shoulder and said to Raka, "Are you asleep?" And said, "No, I am here. What did you want?" She'd have a conversation with him like he was bewitched. Maya apologized for saying his name. There was no response, so she had to. Raka said, "You can go on from here. Anyway, we should stop their fighting before someone gets hurt," Maya said. "All kids grow up fighting," Raka replied. He doesn't even want to stop the fighting, she thought. Aisha screamed that her brother had ripped out all her hair, but he claimed she had grabbed his first. She said her little brother didn't even know how to use black magic, but he told her, "That's good. At least he has a brain." Maya tried to bring Duke to his senses by telling him to look at his brother and sister, but the only conclusion she drew was that he was really nuts. Something was wrong with him. At some point, Aisha got really angry. She lit up with a black and purple color and screamed, "Damn you!" And she directed all her power and energy towards her younger brother. Delcane shouted, "Hey, watch out!" and tried to bounce away. That Raka finally came to his senses and used his powers to stop his sister. Maya was horrified by their family arguments. They burned the floor with their magic. Raka called his brother and sister to him and tried to figure out which of them was at fault. Delton said he was at fault, and Aisha said she was at fault. Raka said, "Aisha, do you take the blame?" But Aisha was silent and then said, "Oh, I warned you, you'll be punished for using black magic," he said. "And I warned you in that I only use black magic if you're dealing with a stranger who's threatening your life," he explained. Aisha screamed that she didn't mean to. It was just Delcane saying, "You're marrying a priestess." so she got mad. Aisha asked, "Since when did you two have such a relationship? Are you really marrying a priestess?" Wait, this is a situation, Maya thought. Her experience in the unknown year of the novel spoke for itself. This black magic situation could be crucial. Maya ran up to Raka and said, "Wait, she will explain everything," but only Raka doesn't think so. "Is there any need to explain their relationship? What she did to him was very strange," he said. Maya said she pushed him away when he hugged her, and she didn't do anything. Went to her and said, "Did nothing at all to get them into this situation. And I said he was saying that the children might misunderstand him. Was telling the truth? How could they not understand?" Delcane said, "Look at that, Aisha, I couldn't believe it. It can't be, no," she kept saying. Raka said, "Aisha, accept. You already have it all in front of you." Maya thought about the fact that they had gotten the whole situation right. The twins went outside for a little walk out of frustration. They were very angry about the situation. Maya and Raka were left alone in the room. Maya thought something was wrong here, needed to be sorted out. Her life was getting worse, not the other way around. Raka said, "Now it would be time to have a frank talk. The children are gone, so let's talk." Maya said that she really hadn't slipped anything. But Raka did not believe her. He kept saying, "Don't worry. Tell the truth." She didn't realize, still the truth she needed to tell, meaning Raka wasn't doing it because she wanted to. "I know," she thought. "Maybe she has the abilities to handle his power. Novomoskovsk has never had that kind of power." Raka said, "He wants to say that he himself has lost his mind." "Well, she's telling the truth," Duke said. "Okay, pretend he didn't see anything." Maya said happily, "Then let's pretend it never happened at all." Raka asked, "Does she hate him?" But Maya couldn't understand why he was suddenly asking such a thing. Maya interjects from him, "What is he talking about?" But Raka himself cannot understand what is happening to him. He must have gone mad. "Oh," Maya laughed. She gives herself away with her emotions. "Since she won't tell anyone anything about what happened, he will return to the castle to understand the reason for what happened and deal with her identity." Maya replied, "I see. So what is she supposed to do if he knows who she is? He'll send her to the temple." "And so," said Raka, rising from his chair, "now you know what it means. She said that he would find out who she was anyway, so it was better to tell everything now." "Yeah, right," Raka said. "That means a lot of people in the castle will know who she is too, already, and only him." Maya asked, "Does he care about her? After all, you can't be worried right now. If you stick your neck out, someone will definitely find out about her. They'll kill her or decide to exile her." Maya asked, "But he said no one would touch her." "But he can't be responsible for all people. If she is returned to the temple, all her efforts are in vain," she thought. Her running away, her babysitting job, if things get complicated now, she just might get killed. Of course, Raka doesn't want her to die. After all, no one can handle the twins the way she does, and no one wants to handle them. Maya said, "So let's get started then. There's definitely still hope for her about hiring a nanny." She said, "I hope he really wants her to be a nanny." Raka asked, "That's the nanny's job. Haven't they decided everything yet?" "Well, the contract isn't signed yet," Maya said, "and she thinks the Duke thinks she's a bad person." Raka said, "Isn't it?" So that's why he told her. He said that if the others found out who she was, they would kill her or throw her out. Definitely something he let slip out of his sight. Raka said he apologized for being obsessed with one thought and bringing her to this point. He just didn't have the patience. Doesn't think she'd hurt him. There's no point in revealing her identity anytime soon. We'll slowly get to know her, leaving her by her side. So she shouldn't even think about quitting babysitting. Just then Delcane came running into the room saying, "Brother, I have returned." Raka said that he had returned faster than he had thought. He couldn't find those flowers. No matter how hard he tried, even if he found them, they still all wilted. Maya interjected, "What kind of flower is that?" Raka said she didn't need to know that, but her younger brother blabbed and said the flower was Shakira. With an oops, Delcane lowered his eyes to the floor and Maya said, "So this is what you were looking for with Aisha? You never found anything?" "No, he walked alone. Aisha didn't leave her room." Maya looked at the boy and thought that he still looked so sullen. Probably hasn't calmed down yet. Raka got up from the table and said, "Priestess, you will come with me." Maya said she wasn't going anywhere anyway. Raka asked if she doesn't want to go out anywhere without a reason. She replied, even if she had a reason, he would still drag her along. That way they don't have time to look for flowers. Raka said, "Tell me if you have a reason. He will listen and decide whether she should go with him or not." But Maya said, "Even if she tells, he will leave her alone." He said yes. Maya began, "Well, first of all, my clothes are torn in places and she can't go outside like this." Raka said that if she kept her hands down, nothing would be visible. Maya, it's very disturbing anyway. Who goes out in the street in tattered clothes, she thought. Will this plan work for her and what's in his head? How to figure it out? And secondly, he knows what homebrewing is. That means she doesn't like going out. Now that she's told him everything, he can go out on his own. Raka asked, "Are these really her reasons?" Maya said, "It is the truth, without a drop of lie." Delcane, who sat and was present during this conversation, said the brother must keep his word. "A promise must be kept." "Of course it's important. A promise is sure to be kept," Maya said. Delcane confirmed, "That's right, sister-in-law. He's her only savior in this devastated world," Maya said. "That's right, brother. You knew that, but you forgot, I guess," Delcane said. "Yes, Herzak can't help but know that," Maya confirmed. "Keeping a promise is a basic rule. One must remember it well," said Delcane. "Yes, it is easy after all," replied Delcane. "Watch well as the Herzak, Raka. We'll show you an example." The Duke said he'd be back and left. Delcane and Maya went outside to escort and bid farewell to the Duke. They shouted after him to go well, so he'll come back soon. If she runs away while he's gone, and then he'll realize the consequences of that decision, Raka thought. When Raka left, Maya sat on the windowsill to think. She had received a rather frightening threat from him. A voice rang out. "Listen, priestess," Delcane said. "Here, have a drink." And he held up a cup with some kind of drink to her. Maya got excited, took the cup and said, "Thank you for what he brought for her." Maya was very surprised by such an act of the boy. He said, "You know, sister-in-law?" "Forgive him," he said, hoping she would understand. The brother is not very good at expressing emotions. He's pretty sure his brother likes his sister-in-law, Delcane. Maya coughed and said to Delcane, "Does she need to clarify the misunderstanding between her and the Duke first?" "There is nothing," she said. "Judging from your red face, is it safe to say that you also have feelings for your brother?" "Even if your brother is a little rough, he still likes you," Delcane said. He assures her that he's never seen his brother look at someone like that before. Maya doesn't know what's wrong, but the boy misunderstands, shouting, "No! He read it out of a book." He could see it in their eyes. She wouldn't fool him. He understands that his sister-in-law is angry, but she can forgive her brother once too. Perhaps the most difficult person she's ever had to deal with is Delcane. Raka reached the glade where this flower grows, saw that the flower was all wilted. The absence of Shakira's colors had never before he had seen anything like it. It belongs to the imperial family, so he has no choice but to get it secretly, or else he'll be in trouble. He needs to take another look around. As Raka walked on, he heard someone talking behind him, the voices saying that they had indeed been called to find flowers. Imperial Knights. What are they doing here? He thought. One of the knights said, "What can he do, since the blessing ceremony has been interrupted?" And the other knight asked, "Why interrupted?" Well, if he had known, would he have sought the flowers with him? He was supposed to accompany Her Majesty. Raka thought that the place had been strangely quiet lately. It looked like the Emperor was secretly planning something with the temple. The knights went and looked for flowers and talked. One says, "By the way, there really aren't any flowers there, just like the priest said." The other knight replies, "You know my eyes are strange." The first knight discourages. He would rather be strange if he brings good news. At a moment like this, there is a reward to be had. The second knight says, "Come to your senses. Let's go back soon. We'll see there." Raka, listening to their conversation and hiding behind a tree, thought, "This is what happened. Need to think hard about what he just heard." So, first of all, the Emperor arrived at the temple to perform the blessing ceremony, but it had to be suspended due to unforeseen circumstances. Second, the location of Shakira's flowers has nothing to do with the imperial family. Third, no flowers are currently blooming here. Then this is the woman he really needs. Maya, a woman with powers that are like Shakira's flower. Just in case, he wanted to prevent her from leaving her babysitting job, but it ended up working out. Now, however, other obstacles have arisen. He can't understand why he feels so good with her. The feeling next to her is like the effect of Shakira's flower. He feels like he's losing all his energy. His mind and body have lost control over reason, wanting only to be near her. Perhaps contact is a kind of mediation. Speaking of touch, one person immediately comes to his mind. Reina Adrian. Someone who could put him to sleep with just one touch. The woman he was able to find after a long investigation. But Maya is different from the Reina he knew. No matter what happens, he can't let Maya go. What he needs to do now is buy her some clothes. She seemed very upset that her dress was torn. Meanwhile, Maya's in the house. She's so tired. Maybe take a nap for a while, When Raka came to the house, he saw Maya sitting on a chair, leaning on the table asleep. He thought, why is she lying down there? Looking at her, he couldn't believe he needed this woman without even knowing her real identity. The younger brother looked out of the room. He saw Delcane and asked, Brother, have you come? Delcane asked, has the priestess done anything suspicious? The younger brother replied, no, she's still sleeping. Asked also, is Aisha still sulking? Delcane replied, yeah, she's very stubborn. Just then a scream came from the room. Not at all, Aisha replied. Delcane stands and looks at his brother. He thought that the priestess liked his brother. He asked, why are you looking at me like that? Delcane, no, nothing. He went to his room. He some sleepy, pulling up, sneering, went to his room. Raka said, anyway, tomorrow morning we are all going home. It's just like I read in the book. In the beginning, lovers need to be alone together more often. Maya woke up at some point saying it was already dawn. How long has she been asleep? Pulling herself up, she said. She just laid down for a minute. Covered her up must have been this Delcane, she thought. He came out of the other room and saw that Maya was already awake. He told her, go to your room and lie down on the bed. And then someone knocked on the door and said, Raka. Maya asked, has someone come or is he waiting for someone who was supposed to come at this time? Raka said, no, no one knows about this place. To reach here one must necessarily go through the forest. They were clearly following some kind of plan. Go to your room for now, Raka said. Maya said she'd bring a frying pan with her just in case. What a strange-looking thing she is. But it's the only weapon she can rely on, Rak said. Okay. Maya walks into the room, stands by the door and listens. She hears the sound of the door opening. Who is it? She thought. Opened the door and saw all the guards talking in the woods. One of them asked, good morning, sir. We apologize for disturbing you at this early hour. Raka said, if they are sorry, he would like them to get out of here as soon as possible. One of the guards tried to look into the house, but Raka covered the door and said there was nothing for them to see here. But the second guard shouted, wait a second, we wanted to ask you something. Have you seen a woman here with blonde hair and blue eyes? They asked. Maya's hearing all of this. It's for her. That's the same description Norak told her. That he's never seen a girl like this before, she thought. Knights asked to come inside if he didn't mind looking around. Said he was against them inspecting anything here. But the second guard said they had permission. It's okay. They gave a paper. There was something written. Tractor read Imperial Knights. The knights bowed, saying yes. So, if you'll excuse us, we'll take a quick look around and leave. Maya, standing outside the door with the frying pan, thought, one wrong step and she's done for. She can't make a mistake. No way. The knights went to the door and opened it ajar. It was a room. Well, Rak said, you'd better not open this door. It's his younger brother and sister's room, and they're a little rough. And then the kids joined in and started yelling, who the hell are you? What are you even doing in our room? Maya stood outside the door and was very happy that the children were helping her. Abruptly, though, she changed her mind. The bed, and a blanket on it. She thought it would be better to hide under the blanket. Maya had just had time to throw the blanket over her head when she heard Delcane's voice. He was screaming and outraged. She figured he was the only angel who was on her side. The knight grabbed Delcane and started dragging him somewhere. The boy shouted, let go! But the knight was very angry because Delcane bit his finger. He shouted, you bloody little creature, why are you biting? The knight said, be an obedient boy and stand still. What a bloody brat. Maya, when she saw Delcane being captured, she got angry, grabbed her frying pan and hit the knight on the head. She was stunned to see that she had hit a man. The children were very excited. Delcane said, what a cool daughter-in-law he has. And Aisha said what was expected from the person she hired to work for her. Very pleased. The children, like children, wouldn't shut up. They said she was the best daughter-in-law, and the other one shouted, "Priestess, you're great!" And only Raka came up and said, "Let's hurry. All of us leave before they come to their senses." Everyone went to the carriage in a friendly manner, but the children kept on praising the new nanny. Early said how she came up with such an idea to use a frying pan as a weapon, and Delcane said, "That's right, sister-in-law. It was a damn good idea." She herself didn't realize, from what had happened, she herself didn't realize how she had done it. She sat there in shock. Raka asked her, "Why are the Imperial Knights looking for you?" "Yeah, they said they were looking for a blonde with blue eyes. You fit the description." Maya thought she should pretend that she had nothing to do with it at all. She told him it must be a coincidence. The children were just in favor of Maya. Aisha said, "Brother, why are you scaring the priestess so much?" Delcane confirmed, "That's right. She tried to save us with a frying pan once, actually." Maya was very happy that the children were for her. But then a phrase came from Aisha. You can't marry your brother. I'm much better than that. Just be mine." Now I asked my little brother, "Don't you think she said something really cool?" And Delcane didn't appreciate it. Said, "Ew. Not at all. You're out of your mind. Why would your daughter-in-law be yours?" he asked. Replied, "Actually, she's the one who hired her. That's why. And hers." Aisha ran up to the priestess and said, "Priestess, you are mine." Yes, Maya answered her that by hiring someone, that person cannot automatically become the property of the hirer. Well, Aisha, she didn't listen to anyone. She kept saying, "No, you are mine." "Yes, she is not yours, Brother Raka. She is mine, and I never give in to mine," said the younger sister. Raka says that so Aisha doesn't worry. He's not taking anyone away. If she wants it so badly, so be it. She must first assess her opponent and only then act. He forgot, has the authority to hire anyone. But she was the first to say she wanted to hire her. So she told her, "Aisha, indeed, then try not to have her taken away from you," replied Raka. Raka and Aisha were passing thoughts to each other about this conversation. After all, they possess black magic. When they arrived at the palace, Raka went to his room and began to ponder. So she has something to do with the imperial family since they are looking for her. I and mine are tired. Judging by the circumstances, it's certainly due to her abilities identical to Shakira's flower. Need to draw up a contract, he thought. Won't let her be taken away so easily, especially now that there are no Shakira colors. So I wanted to go to my desk, picked up a quill and started drafting a contract. There was a knock on the door, and the Duke's assistant came running in with cheese, saying, "Excuse me." He lingered a little longer. Raka looks at the aide relaxed while he was gone. "Well, cheesy," he replied. No, that's okay." Always honored his original commitments. Asked if he could double-check what he was doing. "Is there any news about the imperial family?" asked Raka replied. "It is not related to them. Since yesterday, rumors have been spreading that the daughter of God has appeared in the Toritos temple. Her name was Maya." "What ability does she have to be called the daughter of God?" asked Raka. "Said it anyway." "Ah. Well, about that. He thinks he'll have to do some more investigating to find out what the Raka sent him to investigate. One more thing. Find out all about the woman who came with them today. Do it in secret so no one knows." "Yes, I've done it. And tell that woman to come to him right away." Rak wanted and started to review the contract. Suddenly he missed something. He noticed that he forgot something important. The salary should be. Kirkov and also the employee must sleep with the employer every night. To Rakion's office, and gave her the contract to read when she saw the amount. Kirkov, she was indignant at who he thought she was, that he was willing to pay that kind of money. Rakion questioned what was wrong with the salary being too low. May replied, "There is no such thing." Briefly said, "Already read the terms, ready to talk." Mine started reading, so the terms and conditions clause about housing and food, there is also a clause about not getting killed. There is, so let's see, salary. Kirks are there. When she reaches the last point, she stops and asks, "And what is that last point?" The Raka smiled and said, "That's exactly what it says.